Hey, this is Alex with my pointers video for my CISC 192 programming course. Pointers are for passing values, similar to when you use an ampersand, such as right here in this line of code we have p equals ampersand array I. What the ampersand is doing is it is finding the address of the array, which is going to be up here as array 5 is set to null. But the asterisk mark, or the star for pointer, is going to get whatever is stored at that address. This is very helpful for when you have things such as nested loops or nested if-else statements, and you have things being initialized or declared within those nests. As long as stuff is declared outside of this for loop, for instance, if I run this code, you'll see that right here I have an array set to null, which means when it runs this for loop and it runs through the entire array and prints everything in the array, it's going to print straight zeros. Now right here I'm going to say p is equal to ampersand array I, and that is going to mean that this pointer is now going to point towards whatever's inside this array. And since an array elements are just variables, that means that pointers can point to specific array elements. So now as the for loop increases from 0 to 5, you'll notice that it's going to print out a different set of numbers. And the third for loop is just to prove that the values were passed, because as it passes outside of these little curly braces and into the next for loop, if I just run it again without changing any values, you'll see right here these two lines are exactly the same, which means, or these two lines right here are exactly the same, which means that it successfully passed the value. The values were passed by value instead of by reference. If they were passed by reference, it would have gone back to straight zeros, which is not what we want in every single case. Okay, so I'm back in PSA 5 for the final time. If you notice from our previous videos, we have file under the name song, and song is actually a pointer, so it's going to point to the address of our file, and that way when we read or we write into the file, it knows where it's going, and it can change the values. And that way, if we were to write into a file, same with the same thing we did with those arrays earlier, if we changed what's inside the arrays or what's inside the file and we exit and we come back later, they should stay the same because it passes by value instead of by reference, which is very useful.